Sorry for the late start. I've been having some issues with audio, so I'm just gonna test my Twitch stream directly and make sure that the audio is working okay. So let's see. Make sure that yep, audio is working. Okay, so that's first. I'm gonna take off my headphones because I don't like hearing my delayed audio echo. Okay. Um, so first, and I'm going to move this microphone a little closer so hopefully it picks up better. I didn't realize, perhaps some of you did, which would be, I don't know, is it embarrassing? Is ignorance embarrassing? I don't think it's that embarrassing. I didn't realize that Windows and um, hardware designed for consumers, which even though this was a somewhat expensive um, microphone, it's still, a consumer microphone. I didn't realize all the sound systems in Windows 11 and in the hardware that plugs into Windows 11 um, would be full of software enhancements. But I think that the software enhancements that were enabled at multiple levels um, in my hardware and my software were contributing to my audio cutting out in previous videos, for which I apologize. I guess we have to learn new things every time, every time. But anyway, hopefully that's resolved. We'll see at the end of this stream, since I've turned every enhancement off, um, and hopefully it'll work better. We'll see. I almost always watch my streams again after they've been posted. So hopefully I will be among the first to see whether turning off all these enhancements has helped the sound capture quality. Cross fingers. Um, the other thing that I wanted to say is I'm going to play Factorio because according to my super fancy, not really very fancy spreadsheet, Factorio is the most popular of the games that I have streamed so far. This is not precluding that I will do new games, because I uh, am not particularly game loyal. I usually, like, if I'm just left alone to my own devices, I usually just play the games that I feel like, sort of for partly the feelings uh, of satisfaction that I get when I play them, or when I learn how to play new ones, if they're in the same sort of genre that I know I already like. Um, but I'm happy to keep playing Factorio. It seems to be popular. Um, I do want to restart the game though, because I've been noodling around with some early game altering mods in my personal non-Twitch game that I think will help my overall satisfaction playing the game going forward. So if I'm going to be doing, I don't know, 200 different Factorio streams in sequence, which is entirely possible, depending on my employment and lack thereof, and my recuperation and um, from leukemia treatments, and overall energy and fascination with streaming and so on. It is entirely possible that one game could last more than 200 gameplay hours, especially um, if they are accompanied by commentary. Um, and if you see all or almost all of it done real time. It's possible that for particularly long running processes, if I can't multitask and do something else while I'm waiting for them, I could actually play for a few hours without you watching, but I'm not sure. We'll see when we get there. Anyway, let me walk you through the mods that I am using so that you can see what I here. Okay, so I've still got all the quality of life mods, which are the ones that make it easier to show you what I'm doing while I'm streaming, which are usually just increasing the available light during times of darkness in the game with the day and night cycle. Um, so that is Afraid of the Dark, um, Even More Light, uh, Inbuilt Lighting, and Lighterio. And they all do different stuff with respect to lighting. The main changes to the game that I'm using are um, alien biomes and alien biomes high-res terrain, which actually make the sort of visual quality of the game a little bit more exciting. The ground is not always brown. There's sort of different patterns to plant life growth and native life slash biters. And actually, I don't think it's too much change there. I don't know. We'll see. Um, and then what is it selected? Okay. Um, and then the other main change is this one, um, the Easy Start mod. And if you look at the URL for the Easy Start mod, it will describe the various things that have been made easier. But for my purposes, the major change is that you get um, sort of modestly powered armor with roboports and you're given 100 construction robots. And what that means is instead of laying down each particular element of my factory by hand, I can do it once and capture a blueprint and then paste it. As long as I have all the items in my inventory, the construction robots will build them for me, which I think helped immensely because while I do sometimes enjoy placing all of the elements of my factory, I don't enjoy doing it hundreds of times. And so usually I when I play without this mod, I usually fast track, if at all possible, the technology research that gets me to the point where I can use construction robots. But a lot of other streamers use this mod because they also are tired, I assume, of placing each individual piece and would like to focus instead on the structure or the megastructure of the factory. So I want to restart with these mods, and I'm going to. So, um, single player, new game, and then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make the resource situation and the native wildlife situation a little bit less aggressive. Again, I've discussed this before, but I am not a fantastic super player of video games and PC games, and making settings easier for me means that I have a greater chance of surviving while I am also narrating what I am doing. So I am going to maximize the frequency, the size, and the richness of all of the resources. Also, The only thing I think that the changes to the native wildlife that I'm going to set will do is reduce the intensity of my interaction with the native wildlife. I'm going to have them remain, um, but I think reducing their intensity will be good for my gameplay. I am also going to disable cliffs. Cliffs are sort of obstacles that get in the way of being able to build stuff. And later in the game, or sort of in the middle part of the game, you can create um, explosives that flatten cliffs. So I'm just going to assume that I already did that. It's a little cheap, but there you are. I'm going to leave the other settings alone. I do like to use the water features like the lakes and the ponds and stuff as natural barriers against spiders, so that will continue. Um, the uh, enemy bases is fine, but I am going to remove enemy expansion and I'm going to remove enemy evolution. So we'll see enemy hives like you can see in the background right now. And we'll have to, as I expand the base, we will run into more of them. So we will still have to clear them, but their intensity will be lower. And then I'm also going to increase the starting area to maximum so that the enemies are pushed out as far away as possible. So I have the greatest amount of sort of startup area. Um, and I think, um, yeah, we'll leave pollution on, I think, which will bring alien or enemies to come and destroy the factory, but only after I spread far enough. Um, okay, so let's get started. You can already see the biomes having an effect since the background here. I'm going to clear this out, and I can actually have the robots do it. So I can use this deconstruction planner, and I can basically drag it around to highlight the bits of the crash ship and other stuff. Oh, I need to set my armor. So to set up your power armor, you right click it and you put stuff from your inventory in it. So for my purposes, I need to put all of um, these are essentially nuclear reactors, they seem to be based on the little mini nuclear reactor that Doc has in Back to the Future. I'm not sure, but that's what they resemble to me. And then the next biggest pieces are these toe legs. And then we need the batteries and then the robo parts. So that fills it all out. And now that as soon as I placed the robo ports with the power, they actually went out behind my back and destroyed or harvested the stuff that you can harvest. The other stuff, I don't think they can interact with because it doesn't actually yield much of anything. Maybe with just using it wrong, it's hard to say. Anyway, I'm just clearing up the crashed ship components to make room for building. And it looks like the sort of divots in the soil also go away with it. Also, if you do play with the Easy Start mod and you're wondering why this entire menu here on the right does not exist, there is one console command that you have to do, and the console in Factorio comes up if you use the back tick or um, tilde key, and it looks like this. And this is where people can use commands to either cheat, which disables achievements or do basic game commands that don't disable achievements. And one of those basic game commands is the one that enables this menu early in the game. Usually, you have to unlock the technology for construction robots. And this is sort of the entire point of the construction robots, so you need to unlock it. That command does not disable achievements. And I will provide it or provide a link to it in the YouTube version of this video when I get it up to YouTube. You also press the tilde command to dismiss the command for the console. Okay, so we are in the middle of a wasteland. The map is more evocative than the standing in the middle I could see. But so this map is basically based on my personal radar. So in my personal starting area, there are no red dots. That's for the enemies. And in fact, there's likely not to be any red dots until well out like here in the black or further. Um, Hard to say, but I definitely have a lot of room. So in the starting area, like right next to me, I have a big patch of iron. I have two actually. I have a big patch of copper. I have a big patch of stone. Two. I have some generous patches of coal. And then you can see this sprinkling of green trees. There's a water feature to my south of the pond, and then there's one to the northwest and one to the northeast. Another. It's actually hard to say. In this particular biome, the black, the dark blue, the navy, whatever, can either be water, which I know this is to the northwest, or it can be just a terrain coloring, which I think may be what's to the northeast. We'll know more by walking there or by setting up radar so we can see it better. But let's go look. All right, so I'm actually going to go northwest so you can see water. So that's lake that I was talking about, right? And then I'll go east from here to look at that other dark patch that was to the northeast. I'm just avoiding smaller water rough. That's a big old thing of stone that I need to walk around. And then, oh, no, this is what, oh wait, the right place? I am in the right place. Okay, this is water. Okay. So maybe I won't run into that darker terrain stuff, but I'm actually just going to do a little survey by walking around here. Blue stuff. Definitely not water. This is water. Okay, and I think actually this stuff down here might be yeah, this stuff down here, I think maybe the terrain that I was talking about. Let's go. I'll look. It'll be anywhere near any spiders or enemies. But you actually start out with 10 clips for your pistol. Yeah, here's that darker soil I was talking about. So it can be a little misleading in the biomes because you need to know what the different colors are. And they don't highlight. You can't like hover over it and see that this is water and this is that terrain. The only things that highlight are the resource packs. But also notice that with the richness turned all the way up, these resource patches are going to last a long while. It's really a matter more of you set up mining situation for more patches simply so that you can have a greater throughput of mined or gathered resources. But the actual patches have millions of resources in each one. So I don't necessarily need to mine because I'm going to run out, which is normally what happens. Normally the patches are not infinite, and by mid-game you're exhausting the ones that you originally set up in the beginning of the game. In this case, that's not going to happen. Like this particular coal patch is this one, and it has, can't even, I think it's like almost 10 million total coals in it. And then this copper is in the millions, and this iron is in the millions. Yeah, they're all in the millions because that's the rich thing. So that will help me in the long run. But I will still need to harvest for more than just these patches because I will need a much greater throughput of resources. I just noticed that I am streaming with the wrong data about the game. So we'll call this series A1. All right. I don't know if that'll change or not, but at some point I'll need to change it. Okay, so let's get started. The startup is faster um, than with non-construction robot startups. So, however, I do still only start up with the basic. So, um, I am going to place the burning drill and the furnace on the iron patch to the east, which will help me build more burning drills, and soon I will be able to level up to electric drills. So these will need fuel, so I still have to go here and right click and hold to mine coal. Seems like I already have coal. Local at 10. Right, so I have 20 coal, so I'm going to put 10 in each. And I'm going to do that by going into my inventory with E, right-clicking this pile, left or control, holding down control and left-clicking the smelter, and then left-clicking the drill. So that's starting to do its work. And if you zoom in, you can see the burning drill is moving, and after a second or so, or a couple seconds, it put iron ore into the smelter, and the smelter started burning. And if I click, you can see that the smelter has already got some plates in it. So each burning drill takes three, no, 9 iron and 5 stone. And you can see I already have stone in my inventory. So all I really need is iron plates right now. So I will control click smelter. Now I have 20 iron plates, means I can make 2 burning drills. So these I'm going to use to start mining coal in earnest. I'm also going to use my quick bar to help me. So I'm going to move this drill here. And while I'm here, I'm just going to make a couple more smelters. And I'll put those. Okay, so the first sort of configuration of perpetual coal mining is to put them facing each other. And then I just need to mine one coal and stick it in one of them. And that will be enough to start it because the coal generates a fair amount of fuel, and the arrow is pointing that fuel into the other one. And now the other one is adding fuel back to the original one. So they'll just keep each other going. And odds are, if I, without even looking, just randomly go, I want some coal, I hold down control and I left click both of them, they still have enough, or at least one of them still has enough to keep going and put coal in the other. And so they're usually pretty self-sustaining. If they both stop for some reason, go back and put one coal in one of them, and they will proceed. So now I have 11 coal. So I'll go over here and I'll put some more coal in these guys. Um, click, control, click. So now you can see that this one has 12 coal, and this one has 8 coal. So the drills use coal faster than the smelters, but it's not terrible, and you can eventually you have enough to fill everything up, so it doesn't matter that much. If you look at your oh yeah, so if you look at your pollution, you can see that you're already starting to generate pollution. Now, nothing happens with fighters or enemies until this red, and it'll turn red, not just light pink, but until this light pink touches the um, the enemies, basically. So they will ignore you completely until your pollution touches them, and then they will come by you. Why they're called fighters. Before that happens, I plan to build um, stone or cement or concrete walls and turrets. Probably just machine gun turrets to start. Though as my power generation capacity increases, it may go up lasers, or I may develop burnable fuels, and then I'll have flamethrowers. It's all very exciting. Um, and eventually, when I actually do unlock construction robot technologies, I can equip the construction robot with repair kits and station them near walls, and they will go out and repair walls if they get damaged by the enemy. So it all becomes very civilized. And then you have to manage expansion rather than just the territory you hold. But that's looking very far forward. So let's keep. Um, I have enough now for 7. I'm actually going to make all of the furnaces I need. And more of these and make. I need 8, right? I just want to make one chest here for now. 8. There we go. One iron chest. And then I'm going to also kind of be able to upgrade the steel chest with greater inventory later. Um, so let's use 2 more here. And even, so these are still pointing at each other. These are sort of making the loop. So I want to just rotate this one. I can just put my cursor on it and type R and it will rotate. And now they are going in a 4 drill loop. And you'll see in a second that the fuel alert is gone on all of them, and now they are all working together. So that's good. The next thing I want to get is, because I'll need more smelters, is I want to get set up with, oh, I think the stone was, well, let's go to the map. All right, so the closest stone is this one in the northeast. We'll use. Also, I'm out of fuel on this burning drill, so let's fuel it up. So clicking all four of these, control clicking all four has given me enough now to fill up both of these and have some left over. So let's just do it. So I click that, left click with control hold down, and left control held down. I might even want to use a burning inserter. I'm not sure, but with that, I could essentially use a big chest full of coal and have the burning inserter continually to refill the drill and the smelter. But I think that electricity and um, electric drills may be closer at hand than I think. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that. Let me actually look at the technologies. So, would it take either basic? Do I already have the? Is it already? Oh yeah, I already have the recipe. So I just need power, and I need copper. So it's within my grasp. So I think I might just for that rather than messing around with automating with the burner technology. Um, so let me do the stone setup. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to do the stone setup. I'm going to use my construction robot to gather all of this stone, which simultaneously clears out the territory and gives me a bunch of stone. So I don't need to deal with that right now. That means I can now have a bunch of smelters. Now I will be using smelters for a while. The next upgrade I think is the smelter is with steel, and I don't think I'm going to achieve steel in half an hour. So I'm just going to make all of this um, into smelters, and then I will get some more stone by the same method and make some power generation stuff in a minute. Um, in fact, it looks like I don't need to because the power generation stuff actually uses, sorry, stone furnaces as an ingredient. So I can use the ones that I'm already building and I don't need to get more stone to do it. So the things that I need for power generation are a boiler, um, a steam engine, offshore pump, and an underground pipe, all of which are sort of within my grasp. Um, Also, I need to be near water since water is required to make the boilers run and the steam engines work. And again, I am near water. The question is there water close by that's near a place that doesn't have much on it like this? That would be a good place to set up a power station. And there is right here. So the other thing that's nice about this particular area is that it's close to coal, which is the other thing you need for power. So I'm actually well set up to make a power station. I do think that I need to mine and smelt copper. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that instead of the stone, since there's a lot of stones that are lying around that I need to harvest anyway. Okay, so I'll do this thing again, but with copper. And then more coal. Goes up. Okay. Um, I need to make power poles. All right, so let's let's see, what does this need? This needs copper. I need one of those. I can make one now. Okay. And then I need a bunch of iron. So I think I may actually want to set up a bunch more iron burning drills and furnaces. So actually, let's do that. There's no iron ore here, so let's move in a little bit. Again, no hit, none here. And I don't have enough for to fill all of them, so I'll get some more coal and see what I can do. And while you know what, I'm gonna actually put this here and see how much I have. And do that. All right, so I did a little bit more. And let's actually look at our pollution now, which will have increased a lot. Yeah, so it used to be quite small. Now it's well spread. It's still light pink, but that will get more intense as I have a greater density of stuff. Oop, fail. I mean, it's only 10, but it's something. All right, so these are all doing stuff. It gets. So now I have 100 and what is that? 180 in my prescription still it's in let's say 160 iron plate and 37 copper, which is actually a fairly reasonable ratio. I have one offshore pump. I need I'm going to do 5 underground pipes, which is actually going to turn into 10 when it's created. And I don't need this many. I need like 10 overground pipes, and then I need see these steam engines are killers on the steel or the iron, which is why I need so many smelters behind me. So I'm gonna do two boilers. Um, and I need as many of these inserters as I can get. So I'll just start with this. Um, get some more. Do the cycle again. So coal. We put the coal in the machine. And it seems like there's now, is everybody full up? It looks like everybody's full up. No one's not full up. I'm not sure why that didn't go. Everybody else is full up. Okay. So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to get the put from furnaces. I have more. So I have inserters. I have some pipe. I actually thought I made more pipe, but I think that the underground pipe used up the pipe that I made. Let's make a little bit more overground pipe. Um, and then I got two boilers, so I want four and behold, I have enough for steam engines. And then I'm going to use the rest of the copper I have and some of the wood to make power poles. And this will also make doubles. So I'll get 82. And then I'm going to use another set of quick bar slots to set up my power generation. I I keep understanding where my um overground pipe. I guess I'll just make some for. Oh, that's right. The overground pipes were consumed by making the other. Yeah, so I need this here. Uh, and this. And those are all that I need for the power generation, aside from transport belts. I need to get some more. Do the cycle again. I'm basically just trying to do the first automation before I'm done here. So feed and take. I don't know. Oh, I can't reach it. That's no. Do we just not have? Oh, I've placed this poorly. Let's actually move these. I was trying to figure out why that wasn't working. It was because there was no iron. So I guess I had only put that burning drill on a very tiny patch of iron down here. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Now I want to make conveyor belts. And we'll see how this goes. I don't know if I'll have enough of everything. Um, but let's actually start building the power generation, even though it's a little early. And the reason it's a little early is because I don't have electric drills yet, but that's fine. We'll make it work anyway. All right, so you can see all this stuff is sort of in the way. The water. I was trying to figure out if there was if it was contiguous or not, and indeed it is contiguous between these two sides. Um, so if I look at it in the map, you can see it a little more clearly. I think I want to. I think building it actually around where I am is not a bad idea. So let's do that. All right. So first I need to place the offshore pump. The offshore pump does not need power, which is totally weird, but I guess it's sort of a chicken and egg thing, and I didn't want to deal with it. The dotted lines show me how far the underground pipe can run. This is as far as it can run. If I move one more, it goes away. So I'll do that, and then I'll run it once more just to get it away from the weird curviness of the shore. And if I zoom out, you can see there's now a fair amount of room horizontally, which is where I'm going to be placing the steam engines. So the basic sort of recipe for this is I'm doing a little T-junction. I guess I'll do that just because. And then I will put one boiler facing to the west here and one facing to the east here. And then where was that? I had these conveyor belts, so I'll put them here for now. So the conveyor belts will come in this way, and they'll come in from the coal patch, which is down here. Oh, that's steel. Here it is. Here's the coal, right? So I'm going to take electric drills to harvest coal, which will be carried by the conveyor belt, which also, conveyor belts also do not need power, which is also weird, but again, it's a chicken and egg thing, so I guess whatever. Okay, and then we will use inserters to take from the conveyor, take coal from the conveyor and put it in the boiler, right? So the water's coming in from the offshore pump. The boiler is using the coal to produce steam, which goes to the east on this side and the west on this side. And for now, because we do not have coal, I'm going to actually manually insert coal into these boilers. So now if you hover over the boiler, you can see on the right side, the output is full because nothing's connected to the steam. It consumes water. You can see how much. There's 200 of 200 water, so it hasn't really impacted the water supply. Although if you add enough boilers, it will. It consumes coal as fuel to create the steam out of the water. And you can even see at the bottom that it generates steam. Its output right now is 0 because it's full, and it's full of 200 out of 200 steam at a temperature of 165 Celsius or centigrade. And then I am for each sort of run of steam engines, it's really just 2 steam engines per boiler is the sort of maximum efficiency for this level of power generation or this technology. So like that. Now, because they are not attached to any electrical draw, they are showing this flashy plug symbol. Because these are not provided with any electricity, they are showing the same flashy plug symbol. I'm just going to continue. I'm going to ignore that for a second while I put the other. I've already used all of my underground belts, which is irritating, but it's okay. We can fix that later. Fix it in post. Okay, so this is the basic 4 steam engine setup of the power. And then what I do for our drawing, which makes all the little icons go away, is this is too many. I don't really need this many power poles, but I'm doing it because not only does it please me, but it's sort of thorough and it covers all the territory. So now the only thing that's going on is I've got 4 steam engines that are creating a maximum of here we go, of 3.6 megawatts, which is a whole lot. But I only have 2 inserters that are each pulling 400 watts each for a total of 800 watts. So right now, my production is huge and my satisfaction is 100%. As I add more devices on this side, the production graph will start filling with green until it hits the edge, and then it'll turn yellow because I will be drawing more power than I'm generating, and then I'll need to add more stuff to the power plant. But it's not really doing anything because right now all it's doing is focusing on satisfying its needs, and there's nothing generating coal yet, so I have to keep manually feeding it right now. However, it's in stasis because nothing's really happening, right? The inserters aren't doing anything, and the steam engines and the boilers are all full, so it's just sort of folding. So if I look here and I look at this boiler, you can see it's just hanging out, doing anything. So the next thing I need to do is I need to connect this to the coal patch. And I'm just not going to have enough built. So I'm going to need to make some more. Yep, the coal patch is actually a little bit further down. And I'm in this situation where there's a bunch of rocks in the way, so I'm again going to use the construction robots to clear it. And I've actually had them pick up a couple of the belts because I wasn't careful about it. But some of these rocks were big enough that they actually had coal in them. So the construction robots gave me those too, the coal. So it's going to be around here. I'm just going to put that there as a sort of shooting for. But I don't have any electric drills to place yet, so I'm just going to leave that here until I get some. Okay, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to get more coal. I'm going to do the rigmarole where I refill stuff and I take stuff. Once I find where I put it, where I put everything. Oh, here they are. Okay, hard to see them against the rain. Feed. These are all quiet because they're all full. If I look at any particular furnace, you'll see that it's got 100 iron in it, which means it can't do anything. So it's not on fire because there's nowhere to put it, basically. So I'm going to do it a favor and empty it out, and I'll have 500 iron and 100 copper, and some left over from last time, essentially. So now I can make some electric drills. I'm going to make 10 is overkill, but let's do it. So I right click twice on the electric drill recipe, and each one is doing 5. You can see it's going to take a little while because I'm just making it in the snow with my power armor. It takes me a little time to make the gears, the copper coil, and the circuits that then end up making the drill. So now it's starting to work on the drill. So now that I have drills, I'm going to here. And I'm actually only going to put down 4 because I don't want to like spam this whole patch with electric drills and make a ton of pollution right away. I mean, that's certainly in the future, but right away it's not. So I talked about this before, but like, see if I place this here, I'm actually going to get some steel. I don't want, or sorry, iron, and I don't want any iron. So I'm actually going to move south 1 square, so it's only coal. I'll put it there. And you can see that around the drill, there's an extra space on either side that it also harvests. So I'm going to try not to overlap them when I place them. So I'll place that one there, and then the next one is 2 away. Make room for both of their sort of surrounding territory. And that. So now I'm also going to make conveyors out of the rest of the metal. I am going to run these conveyors this way, and I'm out. All right, meanwhile, I will use the power poles that I have to take power up or down from the power plant to where I need to put the electric drill. So now the drills are actually working. And you can see that the coal is actually on the belt. So now I just need to continue with this belt over to this one, and then I'll take away the extra so it makes the corner. I don't have to worry about merging belts. Um, and then the other thing to know is that the inserters up here in Boilerland actually only insert up to something like 5 or 10 fuel into the boilers, and I already preloaded them with more than that. So I'm actually going to take them away. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that these inserters work properly. So we're waiting for the coal to actually get to where the inserters are. Since both of the boilers are now empty, I may need to prime it by adding a coal to one of them, but we'll see. Nope, the inserters are doing their job. They moved a little slow to begin with because they were low on power, but they did move and they did insert. So now, yeah, each boiler has 5 coal in it. And we know that the inserters are working. Now, I'm not going to test everything this way because that would be silly, but I do usually when I first build any one mechanism in any Factorio game, I test the inserters to make sure they're working the way I want them to. I test that my expectations are being met with respect to what's going on with the machine. So now you can see, I clicked on the power pole, still a maximum of 36 megawatts. We're actually drawing 361 kilowatts with, so it's got these lights, which are, I believe they're actually associated with one of the mods, the light related mod, and I think they're associated with the electrical drills. But you can see they're not actually drawing right now because it's daytime, but they might draw later. The electric mining drills do draw power. Each one draws 90 kilowatts, which is why 360 kilowatts are being drawn here. And then here's the 800, up to 800 watts from each of the inverters. I don't usually check this as carefully as I am now, but I just want you to get an idea of how this interface works. Usually what I'm looking at are these 2 green status bars. So now that we're drawing a fairly notable amount of power, you can see that the amount that we're drawing is about 10% of what we can maximally generate. So now we need to start keeping track of how much power we're using and when do we need to upgrade the power generation. I usually upgrade power when I get to 50%, sometimes less, depending on my overall supplies and where I'm at in my development. So now you can see this conveyor belt is filling up, which you can see, you can view if you want as a buffer, mechanical buffer, in that there is a lot of coal here and you can see it's filling up. And once it fills up entirely, these drills will stop working. But it also means that if we have some sort of a failure, probably most of this belt will empty out into the power station, which is good. That's what we want. And it's so good sometimes that, and there's some debate about this, but I will sometimes set up a small coal mining farm or array or setup that is dedicated to my power production facilities in the early game. Later on, you can use solar, you can use oil and refined oil, and even nuclear power. But in the beginning of the game, in the middle of the game, when power is mostly generated through burning coal, I will usually set up an isolated part of the first coal mining patch to solely feed power so that I don't end up bottoming out my coal production facilities and then bottoming out my power production without realizing it. Because it's not impossible to recover from, but it's an inconvenience and it's avoidable. So, anyway, this is a sort of closed loop system. Right now, I am still using the burning drills to harvest and the stone furnaces to smelt the basic building blocks, the iron and copper plates. But the next upgrade is to build and place more of the electric drills to harness the electricity um, and build what I showed last time with the older game, the smelting arrays that make more um, iron and copper plates automatically and provide them automatically to assembling machines do most of the work. So that's it. I'm going to end here and we'll pick up where I left off next time. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope that you one day decide to join me, but you don't have to. You're welcome to request games of different kinds for different configurations by talking with me on Twitter, or if you know me on Facebook, or comments on Twitch or YouTube. Um, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Twitter. I might be moving off of it if Elon Musk manages to buy it. But it sounds like that's an interesting financial situation. And since I'm not a finance expert, I won't comment on that. But it sounds like it's not entirely a done deal yet. So uh, I may still be there. We'll see. But you can always comment on YouTube or sorry, Twitch. Um, anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day and a good weekend, and that your family is kind to you and you are kind to them, and that you're able to sleep in and enjoy your local weather and a beverage of your choice. And I hope you can continue being awesome. Take good care of yourself.